Hi guys, this is Peter Sterios, founder of Manduka, and I'm here today in my home yoga studio, actually right next to the garage where Manduka got its start over 20 years ago. And I want to talk to you about the unBlok, which is a state-of-the-art yoga prop that we created after years of using traditional blocks and wondering if the traditional block was the best shape for ergonomically supporting a spine in, say, passive back bends or chest openers. And what we came up with, I think hopefully you will agree, is something that achieves that what we were looking for. In a moment, I'm going to show you some of the ways that I've discovered that I like to use this unique shape to create support in my practice, and I hope it inspires you to do the same for yourself. So before that, I'd like to share the story of how this block developed. And essentially it was the result of our first remodel of our yoga studio, where we were struggling how to store our foam rollers and our wood blocks, and nothing seemed to work until the kind of yoga prop company owner light bulb inside my mind went, hey, maybe we should redesign the block and come up with something that incorporates some properties of the foam rollers, which is what you see here. So after many failed prototypes, we finally ended up with this, what I think is an elegant design with a dual curve profile. It's lightweight. It's the same overall dimensions of a standard yoga block, and it's stackable, and yet you can use it like a foam roller for different poses. So once we had the block, we had to come up with a name, and in a way this block had this beautiful way of unblocking those gnarly knots that sometimes show up in the thoracic muscles of the spine. And so that was perfect. And then secondly, this name unBlok honors the block's departure from, say, traditional blocks, and its unique design gives unmatched comfort and support for the spine. So all blocks, including the unBlok, have 6 surfaces. These bigger surfaces we call faces. The smallest surfaces we call ends. And these medium-sized surfaces we call the sides. And as you can see, the unBlok has one curved face and one flat face. It has one curved side and one flat side. And it has 2 flat ends, just like a normal block. So this first pose that we're going to practice together is a passive chest opener. And what you're going to do is lay the block down flat on its face, and the axis of the block on the midline of your mat. Turn away from the block. Use your hands behind you, holding, just gently finding the ends of the block for orientation, to lay your spine down where the back of the heart meets the block, and your head should comfortably rest on the floor. Keep your legs bent, feet flat. You can walk your feet a little wider. It helps relax the leg muscles. And the arms can just drape out to the sides in line with your shoulders. And here, it's completely passive, almost Shavasana-like pose. Breathing freely through the back, not the front. Try breathing the back like the block was part of your lungs, the full length of your torso. And with each exhale, soften the top of the lungs. As the lungs soften energetically, you feel your heart sinking, and you feel gravity grounding you deeper onto the block. Keep the sound of your breath soft, the rhythm of your breath slow. Each exhale, softening the top of the lung, heart sinking, gravity bringing your body into more contact with the block, and the back ribs taking the shape of the block away from the spine. So after 5 or 6 cycles of breath here, if you want to go a little deeper from a chest opener into a back bend, to come off the block, just roll to your side and sit up. Face the block, and you're going to rotate the block onto its flat side and placing the axis of the block again on the midline of your mat. Turn around, hands behind you to orient, and place the back of your heart again, same place, back of the heart, right on the block. And here, the head should just rest comfortably on the front end of the block, which mine does. If this is too extreme for your neck, you can get a blanket and place the blanket behind your head in between the neck and the top of the block, and this is quite comfortable. Once again, the arms come out to the sides. Slow breathing through the back, the full length of your torso. Paying particular attention as the breath moves by the block. Each exhale, lung softens, heart dropping. As you feel the heart dropping here, you feel the thoracic muscles, the paraspinal muscles softening, subscapularis muscles softening, and your thoracic spine taking more the shape of that curve on the side of the block. You can even scoot your tailbone away a little bit as the spine bends more. Again, 4, 5, maybe 6 cycles of breath here. Relaxing the diaphragm, feel your abdominal organs drop. Relaxing the sides of your tongue and throat, feel the chin sinking. So you really get a sense that your back is passively back bending the full length of your spine. All right, and to come off again, just roll to the side and sit up. And if you're new to back bends or you've had enough, I would say that's it for today. But those of you who have maybe a stronger back bend practice and you want to explore going deeper into this pose, you need a strap and a second block. And first, starting with the strap, placing the strap neatly on your mat, flat, and then placing the blocks with the flat sides of the block together and the flat faces of the block down, aligning the blocks over the strap so that the strap and the midline of the block align. And when you bring the buckle over, the buckle should line up right on the seam in between the two blocks. And once you get that set up, then taking the free end of the strap, making sure there's no twists in the strap, and sliding it into the buckle, and then tightening the strap. And then when you get the block aligned perfectly, you hold one block with one hand, and the other hand really cinch the strap tight. The tighter, the better. And as you can see, now the buckle is moved off that seam, which actually comes in pretty handy. And you just want to double check to make sure the strap is on the midline and the ends of the blocks are together. And move the strap out of the way, tilting the block up onto its curved side. And you'll see because of the strap, you can actually see the tilt forward in the blocks, which comes in handy. And you want to, again, make sure the block is right on the center line of your mat. These are important things when you're feeling for balance. And then turning your back, once again, the hands go right to the bottom of the block for orienting the back. And you want to hook the leading edge of the block right under your shoulder blades. And then to sink back into the block, move your hips away. You'll notice the angle of the block is changing, and the back of your skull should rest on the end of the block. If it doesn't, you can go a little further away and then use your head to kind of leverage the head into a comfortable place. And so now I'm all set here. Arms go out to the side, and when we're using two blocks like this, because it's higher, there's a little more lateral need for support. So the arms here are actually going to be useful, and my feet go wider, which will also be useful. So slowing the breath down, inhale through the back like the block was part of your lungs. Each exhale, lung softens, heart drops, feel gravity bending your back comfortably. Those who want to go a little further now, walk your feet in a little closer, slowly lift your hips up. As the hips lift until they're horizontal with the shoulders, rock forward a little bit until you feel the block is flat. So you get this sense that you're even, the block are level. Same thing here, breathing through the back, the full length of your torso. Each exhale, top of the lung softens, heart drops, diaphragm softens, abdominal organs drop. And if you want to take this back bend a little deeper, let your hips sink as the diaphragm releases. So now that's deepening the back bend. And then for the final part of this pose, if you're strong in back, you walk your hands onto the leading edge of the strap and you just hook your fingertips around the strap, pull the elbows in so the upper arms are parallel, and you lift your hips up. As the hips lift, you can slowly lower your elbows towards the floor. Then don't be in a rush. Take several cycles of breath to get your elbows flat, adjusting your feet as needed. Keep them wide for balance laterally. Each exhale, as you feel the lungs soften, the heart sinking, see if you can rock forward a little more, elbows lowering slowly towards the floor. If at any point it's too extreme, that's where you stop and you can slowly come out. Those who can, are you feeling invited to go lower? Slowly go, taking the elbows all the way to the floor. Once the elbows hit the floor, keep the breathing slow. Each exhale, as the lung softens, the heart drops, you can lower your hips a little. It's hard to talk here. To come out, you just rock up. Drop your hands to the sides before sitting up, just to keep your balance. Lower your pelvis to the floor. Lift your head and slowly push up with your hands. And whenever coming out of a deep back bend like that, you're definitely in a slightly altered state. So take a moment just to sit with yourself and feel the effects of what a deep back bend creates in your body. Thank you for your time to watch me demonstrate these wonderful uses that the unBlok can give your practice. Namaste.